What's up? Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Max and today I'm going to be sharing with you 10 more things to do in your sketchbook, because the last time I did that I got tons of views and I was like, oh okay then, I might do another one of those. And also I did kind of say I would if I got 10 likes, and I got about like 13. So thank you for that. Let's get into the video. Here is your reward. Alright, our first idea of the episode is to draw a collection of things. This is one of those ideas that's as difficult as you want it to be, so it's good for all skill levels. I decided to go for a medium difficulty and draw a collection of beach huts along the seafront. Initially I was a little concerned about the quality of the illustration due to the fact that I cannot paint for the life of me, as you all know, and that I've never drawn beaches and I've got no idea how to draw sand. But nevertheless I pushed on, and I guess this is a learning experience. I wanted to give each hut a unique design that could perhaps reflect the personality of its owner. For example, the yellow one's got windmills on it out the front, and the blue one's got surfboards and a wetsuit hanging out to dry. I started by painting over a light sketch I'd done off camera. This was meant to be just a base coat, but due to the lack of high quality painting skills at my disposal, it just ended up being the only coat, so not really a base coat anymore. It doesn't really incorporate much shading or detail work, but it was alright because I went back later to fix that up, as you'll see. The next thing I did was paint a light grey concrete pavement under the beach huts so they've got something to stand on, and then I painted the beach coming up to it. I figured out for the sand I just needed to do a base layer that started dark in each corner and got gradually lighter towards the middle, and after that had dried I went over it with a lighter and darker brush marks to add some detail, and that was kind of fun. I liked doing all the blending and all of the paint mixing. That was enjoyable. It reminded me of the art project I did when I was like 9, and that was a bit of a nostalgic experience for me. Once the sand was finished, I went up to the sky and I painted a sort of light blue fading into even lighter blue gradient thing in the background, and then I got a sort of yellowish toned white and put in some clouds, and then went over that in more of a purer white to highlight like the light and dark hitting it. And the final step of the process was just to get my favourite colouring pencils out and just neaten up all the edges, because the paint job was pretty rough, but I got these pencils and they were pretty good at smoothing everything out and just adding some details I might have accidentally painted over. The second idea for today is to make an OC page. This basically means picking an original character of yours and dedicating a spread to them. I'd say this is a medium difficulty one, as it can take hours if you do it properly. I have a whole video dedicated to making cool sketchbook spreads similar to these ones, and I've linked that in the description, so check that out if you need a hand. But basically all you really need to do to make one of these is draw your character between like 3 and 6 times maybe, all around your page, put them in different sizes, different poses, different outfits, and then just draw a couple things your character likes, add some different backgrounds, and that's pretty much it. The character that I chose to do was my boy Jake, because he was just being a little neglected recently. Done quite a few drawings of all the other dudes in his little squad that he's got, and he was just kind of like left out. He was kind of sad, kind of lonely, all alone in the world and neglected. So I just thought, you know what, yeah, he can have a page to himself. He's never had a page to himself before, and I think he deserves one because he's amazing. I had loads of fun for the backgrounds of this spread. Just because I love backgrounds. I don't know why, it's a bit stupid. They're just sort of like mindless, but you can still make them look cool anyway. One of the backgrounds, like my favourite one, was just a bunch of different eyes, and they all had different like shapes and colours to them. And the one I did on the corner with the green hoodie one was just like blocks of cheese, because Jake loves cheese. Loving cheese is like 50% of his personality. He dedicates his life to cheese. And I also did like a grey background one with line patterns, and then above that some giraffe splodges in the bi flag colours, because Jake is bi if you didn't know, and now you do if you didn't, and that's important. And also I did a cool one where I stuck like circles of washi tape down and then drew patterns around it, which was very fun. Yeah, I think the backgrounds were probably most fun. Colouring all the different Jakes in would have been the most fun though, if it weren't for the fact that it took so dang long to do all the colouring. Designing the outfits and the hair and stuff for my characters is kind of like my favourite thing to do. It's just like expressing their inner personality on the outside, and that's cool. But like doing all the shading for the skin and all like the shadows on the clothes just takes just too long, so long, and it's kind of boring as well. This spread took me at least 3 hours, which was surprising. I thought I'd get it done in like the morning, but it took me like a whole day if I like spread it out. But it was kind of fun. I mean, most of it was fun, except all the just mindless colouring. That was a little boring. But I enjoyed all the patterns and the backgrounds and things, and I hope you enjoy making your ones as well. And the third one that we're going to be doing this episode is do some neurographic art in your sketchbook. I've already done this like twice in my sketchbook. I really like doing these, I'm not sure why. They're just kind of relaxing and mindless, but they still look cool afterwards as well. The basic principle of these is you just draw some circles or shapes, and then you draw lines going across the page and over them. And then you go to all the little intersections where all the lines meet, and you just sort of round the edges off. And then you go and colour in all the spaces that are left behind. I have got a separate video on this that I made a while ago. I'll link that in the description, it might be helpful. For mine, I just used a black felt tip pen. You can use like Sharpie or alcohol markers or whatever, but those things will bleed through, so I just used this marker that's just like water-based. And I kept checking just in case it bled through, because I really don't like bleeding in my sketchbook. And then once I'd finished rounding off all the edges and drawing the lines, I got some watercolour paint out, and I just coloured them all in sort of a cool colour palette with like blues and purples. This is very fun and very easy, and it's also quite quick compared to some other things. I only spent about 40 minutes on this one, whereas some of my other ones in this video took up to 3 hours. You could also colour these in with pencils and do sort of gradients and all the separate little boxes, or little blob things, whatever they are. Or you could use more markers, and something I learned you could do with markers is you go over the whole thing once, and then you just go around the edge of the little blob, and it makes it a bit darker and it makes it look like it's glowing, sort of. Idea number 4. Redraw something from a previous sketchbook or earlier on in your current one. When I was looking for something to redraw, disaster struck, and I couldn't find my old sketchbook. It just sort of disappeared. It wasn't in the pile of old art stuff that I never look at, which I normally put it in. So I went on this wild goose chase throughout the whole house, and turns out it was just in my other pile of stuff I don't look at that's directly underneath that, so that's my eyesight for you. Once I had acquired my sketchbook, it didn't take long for me to find my first victim. I drew this last year, I think. I don't know, I don't date my work. I date people. Sorry, that was cringe. It won't happen again. It's basically a page of Melanie Martinez and a page of Billie Eilish, because I don't know why, I just draw them all the time because their looks are so contrasting. They look kind of cool when you sit them next to each other. As you can see, I played around with the camera angles a little bit. I don't know why, I just do crazy things sometimes. I'm very unpredictable. And I'm very proud of the fact I managed to actually find the exact reference photos I used on Google. And you probably noticed I did all the sketches off camera because if I showed the sketching processes for every piece in this video, it would be way too long. Not to mention the fact that I'd run out of things to say. When you put this one and the old one up next to each other, you can really tell the difference. And I just love doing things like this. I just love it. It reinforces the whole the only person you should compare yourself to is yourself. Which I love, because everyone else is better than me, so yay. What are we on? Number 5? Number 5, okay. Quite like this one, it's nice and easy. Design a character. So simply just draw like a rough idea of a character, like just whatever comes to mind. And then once you've done that, pick out things you like, pick out things you don't like, and then draw them again with that in mind. So you might draw your character and then be like, I do not like those feet are manky, and then change the feet. Or you might be like, oh, I really like the hair, let's keep the hair. So for my character, I did like a cat boy. He has pink hair, and I quite liked my design. The first one I did, it's a little bit blurry on the camera because I was using my desk lamp as a light source, so it wasn't decent as I'd hope it to be. And the only thing I really changed with him was the outfit colours. Like I liked everything about him, but like the pink for his hair was too dark, and I wasn't a big fan of the purple. It just didn't really go with the vibes. And I also drew a few different eyes around the edge, just different designs and colours, and I preferred the yellow golden one, so that's the one that I used. I also wanted to test out different poses for him as well. You might notice me switching the sketch around a bit, but I settled on this strange sort of one hand in his pocket, one holding his ear sort of situation. It was a little bit random. Yeah, looking back at it, it's strange, but it's fine. I don't mind. And after I drew that little one there and coloured it in, I changed his shirt to black, his jacket red. And not gonna lie, it does kind of give me like Pokemon trainer vibes, but I think I'm okay with that. I think that's fine. He can be a Pokemon trainer. I also drew his jacket and shirt up close and gave him a little cat badge. And then the last thing I did was draw a final copy of him on the other page, and I only just realised now that I forgot his tail. That's a shame because I enjoyed the tail. The tail situation was kind of cute. And he's not really very catty now without a tail. Okay, that's a shame, but we can move past it. And the final design overall, I found it was just a bit simple. Like, I could have added some shading or like extra details. I was a fan of the outfit though, even though it was a little strange and he was kind of holding his ear in a sort of weird way. It was still cool. I liked the outfit. I might do extra development on him later, but you know, I probably won't. Just add him to the pile of OCs I'm never gonna do anything with. And I just like, yeah, it's simple, but I can't spend ages on each drawing because then I wouldn't have enough time to post weekly videos. And I decided his name should be Alfie, and that, I don't know why, I just thought Alfie would be a good name for a little cat. If you did this one, feel free to tell me about your character in the comments. Tell me like their name and what they like to get up to. Number 6, experiment. Draw something that you've never drawn before, try a new style, use a different medium, or like whatever, do all of them at once if you're really feeling crazy. This is just an excuse to make a complete mess and get away with it. Maybe you might learn something, I don't know. That's cool too. You can develop as an artist or whatever, that's fine. Yeah. but as you can hopefully tell, this is a self-portrait. I never normally draw self-portraits. I just don't. I don't really do portraits at all, really. I just draw little cartoon people when I draw people. But anyway, I used pastels, oil pastels, and that was very fun. I liked the smoothness of them, and I never use those. I've never used them in one of my sketchbooks before, and I've only used them like twice for school. And that's all that I've used them. I kept the style the same as I normally have it, and I didn't want to go too crazy with the whole new things. But I did the whole using the wrong colours thing, because I don't know, I just do that. That's safe ground for me. I wouldn't be able to do skin tones with oil pastels. This reminds me a bit of a pencil drawing of Jake that I did ages ago. That was also green, and looking at it now, his eyes are blue, I've noticed, and that is wrong, because his eyes are green, and that makes no sense, because all of him except his eyes are green in this picture, and that doesn't make any sense, and that makes me sad. But it's fine, we can forgive him. And if you did this one, feel free to pop down to the comments and let me know what sort of experiments you did. Number 7. We are slowly getting up there. This one I think is quite fun. Draw an imaginary scene. No references, no inspirational Pinterest boards or whatever, just pure imagination. If you do this sort of thing normally, then go as big as you want with this. You can make some sort of really complicated landscapey thingy, but I think for most people, they like to use at least some sort of reference for things like this, so this would be a good challenge for most people. I draw from my head most of the time anyway, so this wasn't too hard for me. I came up with the design as I went pretty much. I put in the river and the trees and the mountains, and I knew I wanted to draw them all the wrong colour, because that's kind of my thing at the moment. I put in like 2 moons in the sky because it makes it look more sort of alien to have like 2 moons, and one was big and one was small and orbiting around it. And this took me like a whole hour to complete, which is a lot more than I thought it would. The trees alone took me at least like 30 minutes. I decided to layer 4 different colours over each other for the trees, so they look more like trees at least, but I think it paid off in the end. The piece as a whole though, I wasn't the biggest fan of with like the end result. I just thought that the pencil was the wrong medium for it. It would have looked better with markers or paint. But like, I love the idea and the design of it though, so I might do another version of it later in maybe another video in one of those mediums. Idea number 8. Make a short comic. This one's quite hard for people who don't draw comics very often, but it's fun nevertheless. Especially if you've got some like original characters that you're really into. I just love making these because you can make your own little stories with them and use your characters for something other than just drawing them. Making just short, like 2-page ones is a good idea if you're like me and you struggle to stay motivated for long periods of time on big projects. Because I definitely do, and it takes me forever to finish actual comics, so doing a short little mini one is a much better way of practicing because you don't have like a commitment to finish anything. The comic I'm making today is a short chain of events that eventually leads to a fight. It takes place in the McKing family car, and the McKing family consists of husbands Jaden and Toby and their 4 children JJ, TJ, Tegan and Ebony. In this comic, Ebony is yet to be born, but basically they're on their way to the beach. Yeah, they're on the way to the beachside holiday home, and they're renting that for a like week-long holiday. And well, basically TJ's hogging the crisps and his sister wants some and he's not sharing them, so she gets mad and she starts slapping him and stuff, and their older brother JJ, there we go, their names are too similar, is just watching iPad in the background. And Jaden's basically just going insane in the front because he's been driving for like 10 hours and hasn't had any breaks, and the kids have just been bugging him the whole time. and Toby's asleep. Basically, Jaden Jr., JJ, gets really mad at TJ because he got slapped and he was just trying to watch his iPad, and he starts grabbing him and flinging him around and stuff. And yeah, that's basically the storyline of that. If you want to read it for yourself, it will be on my Instagram, which I will link in the description of this video. I also thought I might take this opportunity to discuss the comic I've hinted at several times over the past months. I was determined to publish my comic on YouTube that I'd been making. I'd spent loads of time on it, but I lost motivation and I didn't even finish the first chapter. I got halfway through it and then I read it through and I was like, this is garbage. I am not going to finish this. And so it never got finished, and I won't be publishing it on YouTube. So if you were excited for that, which you probably weren't, you probably don't even know what I'm on about, then I'm sorry. But if it's any comparison, I can show you the comic, even though it's not finished, and maybe some other ones that I've not finished as well. So let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do like a sketchbook tour of all my unfinished comics type thing. Number 9. We're almost there. Draw your pet/pets. If you have no pets, draw a friend's pet, and if you have no friends, draw your favourite animal. And if you aren't an animal lover, first of all, who hurt you? And secondly, that's fine, just draw like a tree, or like a nice flower or something. I don't know what non-animal people don't like. And that's fine. Okay, for mine, moving on from that, I drew my cat boy. His name is Dan, and I love him, and he lives with me. And I was gonna do like a super detailed portrait of him, but I don't have the time for that, and also I'm tired, and also it would look bad anyway. So instead I just drew these little like stickers almost. They remind me of stickers. Just little like cartoons of the stupid stuff that he does, like eat birds and wear bonnets and stretch his arms out and also forget who he is. He does that a lot too. When I coloured him in, I just coloured him in with grey instead of black, even though he is a black and white cat, just because it would lose all the detail on his face. And also he's got this really weird markings on his like muzzle bit, like half of his muzzle's white and half of it's black, so it would look really weird. And I also got some like blue, his eyes are yellow, so I used that. And this was just very fun and chill, and I enjoyed this very much. And finally, number 10. I didn't put very much effort into this one, and the idea is pretty simple. Basically, just draw a mandala. If you don't know what that is, it's like a pattern thing. It's a bit like Zentangle's last time, but it's bigger. It sort of starts in the middle, and you just build like a pattern outwards, and you can make it a circle or like a heart or whatever shape you want. And they're fun because you can just sort of do them mindlessly. Like I feel like a lot of these you could just do and not put too much thought into it, but with this one it's like kind of relaxing as well. And you can do it just quickly, you could do it while you're doing something else, like you're on the phone or something. And it's just, yeah, it's really simple. I was really tired for this one, and I just really couldn't be bothered, so I just didn't do anything special. I just got my black felt tip pen out and just drew, and I didn't put any colours in, I just did it like that. And it looks a bit awkward on the page because I can never get it quite central. But it's fine. Okay, I'm just gonna flip through all the ones that I've done. This was the first one. Oh yeah, draw a collection of things. I spent like 2 weeks on this whole video. This one was make a character spread. That's got Jake on it. This one was do some neurographic art. This was redo an old piece of art, and it's got some paint on it from the one I did afterwards. Oh no, this is the one I did afterwards. Design a character, which has so much paint on it from this one, and the paint wasn't even necessary. Oh, that's cool. The colour from this has gone over from the one after it. This was do an experiment, like use something you don't normally use. And this one was draw an imagined scene. This was make a comic, like a short one. I had fun with that, spent ages on it. It looks like a pint of beer. And this is the, oh god, this is embarrassing. Okay, this is the Dan page. It was draw your pet. And I think he's so cute in some of these. I like this one best, that's my favourite. And then this that I put no effort into, make a mandala. Yeah, okay. I was so tired by the end of this. I spent a solid 2 weeks just doing these after school. And thank you for watching. If you'd like another one, make sure to leave a like. I will make a new one of these at 15 likes instead of 10 because I got so many likes on the last one. Because it took me so long to make this video, I got so many more likes. But thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.